How about like the rest of the characters? We talked a lot about casting Bond, but how about casting, I don't know, M, Q, Moneypenny? Who do you think should be the next ones? Or will they cast new people?
I don't think it matters so much the ages of the kind of peripheral characters. Like, the main reason that Daniel Craig is not in the role of James Bond anymore after No Time to Die, other than not wanting to, is like age. He kind of seems too old for the role. But these other characters, if they're not spies, if they're not like on the road needing to be like in battle all the time and be super fit, like, does it really matter if they're not the right age? Like Ray Fiennes, he's got to be getting on now, right? Like, he's been making movies for a while now, and he's amazing. But like, his role is just like in an office. Like, why does he need to be replaced? They can keep him around. He doesn't. It doesn't really matter if he ages out of the role. So yeah. I don't know if they would recast that.
I mean, I really like this kind of new Q character.
Mm-hmm.
I just really like the character that they've created. I also like the current Moneypenny. I like the current side characters as they are, so I really don't want to see them change.
Mm-hmm.
But maybe they could add another side character. I'm not sure.
Maybe if they want to make it like more of an ensemble cast,
yeah,
they could emphasize the side characters more, because we were talking about in our last episode how, like, the Mission Impossible series, it seems like the side characters are more of a team, and it's less focused. Obviously Ethan Hawke is the main character, but it's less focused on him, whereas in this, like, it's James Bond, it's really all about him, and the side characters just exist to like assist him rather than, like, they don't seem as important in the story.
Yeah. How about, like, the next villain? Like, obviously that is going to be, like, dependent on the script, on, I guess, like, who the next Bond is. I don't really know. Because this kind of goes back to when people realized that Rami Malek was going to be the Bond villain for No Time to Die. A lot of people were like, oh, that's great. He's a great actor. But then as soon as the trailer came out, I was like talking to some of my friends, and then they said Bond and Daniel Craig is such like a strong character and strong presence in the entire in Bond that it seems like Rami Malek just doesn't match up in terms of like presence on screen. So whoever they choose in terms of Bond, potentially they might have to choose someone that's like of equal presence, stage presence. So maybe it's hard to answer.
Wouldn't it be funny if they cast someone in the role of the villain who everyone, or not everyone, but like a lot of people are hoping will be Bond? Like, what if they make Idris Elba the next bad guy, or like Jude Law or Tom Hiddleston or Tom Hardy? Like, these are people who have suggested when we sent out the Instagram story should be Bond. Like, what if they cast one of the potential Bonds as the villain? Or what if at the casting they're like, okay, we're down to the final two, and whoever doesn't make it as James Bond or as 007, you're gonna be the bad guy. I don't think that's how they cast films, to be clear. I just think it would be funny.
Well, also, I don't know if they've had like a female villain.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So maybe we can see maybe some more female villains. Not that women should be like are evil. Like, I'm not saying that. But I think that's true. It's like if you have like a female action protagonist potentially on the table, then you should probably also have like an evil supervillain that's female on the table, you know?
Yeah, I hear ya. I think when we think about, like, I mean, it's called the bad guy, right? Like, what if you change your vocabulary and it's like the bad girl? It doesn't sound right. Like, I think it's a
Then maybe just say bad person.
Yeah, at all levels, it's just like there needs to be changes in representation. It's just kind of funny that we're advocating for like more women to be cast, but as like the evil character.
Well, I'm not necessarily saying that like the evil person should be female while like the main like Bond, the next Bond would be male. I just think that there are possibilities there because I just don't think that that's been done in Bond, and I'm trying to think in the minds of like the next Bond film producers, like what would they do? What are they thinking? Who do they want to consider? How are they going to change it up? Because I think they're now it's so easy to now change things up because they're in a transition period, but also because No Time to Die has opened up so many doors to change things up. So what could they play around with? Like, what are those things that could happen in the next series of Bond films? And I think potentially one thing that people haven't really talked too much about is like a female villain.
Mm-hmm. Even in other like franchises, all of the Marvel films I've seen, the villain has been a guy. In Star Trek, in Harry Potter, although, you know, there's bad people like Umbridge and Bellatrix. In Lord of the Rings, like it's just the villain is always a male character.
Yeah. I don't know. People are people. People of different
Anyone
genders.
can be evil.
Anyone can be evil. We've all had encounters with mean people of all different ages and genders. So I think like there's just something there.
I think there may be a kernel of truth in it, in that the abuse of power, I think, is more common among men. And like statistically, there are more men who are sociopaths, psychopaths, and serial killers, I believe. But it's still like probably not the way that the kind of like ratio that we see in film.
Yeah. Who knows? I think in this transition period, there will be definitely lots of like options. Mm-hmm. But whoever is decided upon as like the next villain, I think that's definitely a secondary choice. But maybe what could be interesting is like someone is someone in the production team decides that like, okay, we want this person as a villain for this particular script, let's say, and they haven't chosen a Bond yet, or like a Jamie Bond, let's say, then potentially that evil character could influence their choice. Like maybe they'll write the script in a way that they have this like evil person so completely fleshed out that they know who the actor should be to play that evil character, that then that'll influence who the next Bond should be, and then that'll then carry through to the next generation. I don't know. I feel like you can't really like predict the creative process sometimes.
Yeah, all we're doing here is speculating. Like over the course of the last couple episodes, we're just speculating because we want to like tease apart what the possibilities are for the future so that we can come back in 5 years when they have cast the next Bond and be like, look, we might not have guessed the right person.
Oh.
Or maybe we did, but we got at something that like they ended up doing.